Maybe you're impatient. Maybe you didn't even graduate high school. Maybe you don't feel like you have enough money, time, or know-how to educate your children. But spoiler alert, those are all myths. They're not true. You can absolutely do this. Heavenly Minded Home, and welcome to our channel. We love talking about all the homey things around here. So homemaking, homeschooling, home discipleship, and homesteading, all with an eternal heavenly minded perspective. So for all of you who are here, followers on our channel, thank you guys for hanging out with me again today. For all of you who are new, I am so glad that the Lord plopped us into your feed. I love sharing about all of these things as a Christian wife and mom, serving the Lord each and every day to the best of my ability. And we're talking all about homeschooling this week. I love homeschooling. We have been on YouTube for over 5 years now, and it all started from coming to share about homeschool. And so I've posted lots of videos this week. We post a video each and every day. So lots going on this week, all about homeschool. And of course, lots of resources down in the description box. I have so much to share with you guys that's coming out that's just really exciting. I pray that it can be a blessing and serve many. I want to pause really quick and invite you to come and join a freebie that I have put together for you that I truly hope it just sets you up for a great homeschool year. Down below, I have a link for my Back to Homeschool Basics. It is really my guide and checklist that I go through now our 15th year of homeschooling to make sure that we are setting ourselves up for just a great and God-honoring year. So if you would like to get that resource, it is linked down below. Of course, we have new videos and all kinds of fun things coming out as we continue to encourage and equip you to live out this calling, train up your children in the ways of the Lord, and truly enjoy your time doing so. Check out the link down in the description, and let's get back to the video. Let's dig in and let's talk about some of these top myths that you might be believing about homeschool. I know this is a big topic. There's so many facets into all of this, and I think a lot of times we hear these myths, we hear these lies, and we believe them. Maybe you've even struggled through homeschool a little bit and you still believe these myths about it. It is my prayer and my hope that through these videos we've put out this week, what we have today, the things we have coming out soon, that can help set the record straight and really process these things for you in truth, knowing that the Lord will absolutely guide the way, open our paths, that we can pursue Him in every area of life, including our children's education. So I got these top 5 myths that I hear all the time and maybe even thought myself once before. Let's tackle those today. The first myth we're going to tackle is the one that says, but I'm not qualified to teach my child. Nope, myth busted. Let's talk about this. God gave these children to you, right? They're your children that He gave to you, be it through birth, adoption, whatever it may be. He knew that these children were going to be there with you, and He doesn't make mistakes, okay? He knows that. If He has entrusted them to you, He will most certainly equip you for them. Remember that. Does it mean that you have everything perfect? And yet you don't have to have all of that, okay? I know some of the most beautiful homeschool mamas with amazing children that they themselves didn't even graduate high school. Guess what? That is not holding them back from being exactly what their children need to go and thrive in their education. Homeschool is about so much more than that, especially when we focus on educating the whole child. And so I talked about some misconceptions of homeschool in general and ways that I nearly ruined our own homeschool on the channel this week. So be sure to go back and watch those to really dig into this topic. But I promise you that if the Lord entrusted these children to you, He absolutely will equip you for them. And as you go through this, regardless of what your educational background is, regardless of what your maybe professional background has been, regardless of any of that, the Lord will be your guidance. The Lord will be your strength as you go each and every day for the rest of your life in doing the best for your children. And so you don't have to get hung up on, I'm not qualified, I can't do it, what do I get? God's got it, and He's got you. So when you step out in faith and you walk this path, you know that you can trust in Him to equip you for whatever it is that your kids need. Be that with a great resource that maybe you pull in, maybe someone that comes along to help. God's got it, and you are the best person for the job because those babies are your number one. Myth number 2, homeschool is just way too time consuming. I could never. I don't have time for that. Nope, absolutely not. That is a total myth, you guys. Homeschool is amazing for the fact that you can make it as flexible and adaptable as you need it to be. That's one of the greatest blessings about kind of reclaiming from the world, right? The world tells us that you have to do this and you have to go there and you have to check off these boxes. No, I don't. I don't have to do that. I can make it fit exactly what our season of life looks like, regardless of what the Lord has going on in your life today. I know many homeschool families where maybe it's a single mom who has to work full time. Maybe there's new babies. Maybe there's special needs. Maybe there's all kinds of things. Guess what? You can still do this. You can take it and make it however flexible or adaptable, whatever you need to make it look like to fit your schedule. That's one of the beauties of homeschooling, is that you can do that. You have every right to do so. Your day does not have to look like my day or their day or anybody else's day. It looks like your day. It looks like what's best for you and your family. And so homeschool doesn't have to take up 8 hours a day. It doesn't have to be this, this day per week and these months per year. Set it up how best works for you and your family. And to be honest, when you start to realize that learning is everywhere, and you start to understand this philosophy of education, which if you guys want to see, make sure you hit the like button, because I am getting ready to put out a video talking about our personal homeschool philosophy and why I think you need to have one as well. Super excited to share that this week. But when you start to realize this and you realize that you're learning through life and it's everywhere, it's not just this rigid structure, that opens so much up, and you start to see just the endless possibilities out there, that you're not just confined to this rigid schedule and expectations that maybe you thought, because those things are a myth. And homeschool doesn't have to be this super time-consuming, burdensome thing. It's not at all, especially when you cultivate a love for learning. Myth 3, that there is no shortage of memes in existence to cover. What about the socialization? For some reason, we have come to accept this idea that the only way for our children to gain socialization is through being cooped up in a room with peers their same age for most of their time. How on earth that works out to a well-rounded childhood with well-rounded socialization is beyond me. I cannot put it together. But yet, whenever we talk about homeschool, one of the very first things that we hear about is socialization. Guess what, guys? They're going to do just fine, because socialization is everywhere. And I have found homeschool children to actually be far more competent when it comes to engaging in conversation with people of all ages than most other children. It really is true. Now, you're always going to have some of these awkward ones. Let's be honest. I was raised in public government school, and I have plenty of my own awkward moments, and I wasn't even homeschooled to try to use as my excuse. Your children are going to be just fine. They're going to be just fine because they're going to be engaging with people all the time. That's what happens. They're going to be engaging with their parents, with siblings, with family, neighbors. Get involved with having your children do life with you. Let them grocery shop with you. Let them go and do the different things. If you have a family business or whatever it is, let the children get involved. Be involved with your local church. Serve your community. It's amazing to see how the kids really do come out with such a different approach than the norm. But I think hindsight being 2020, it's a lot better. And so when we realize that, I would be far more focused on what type of influences are coming in from the socialization they're receiving from a government school than being fearful that by bringing them home and, submerging them in family and parent relationships, sibling relationships, community relationships, you're going to have a much richer, deeper socialization than what you're receiving in the government fairly new school system that we subscribe to today. So the myth of socialization, guys, it's busted. Don't worry about it. Myth 4, it's too expensive. I can't afford to homeschool. Guys, no, I promise you, homeschool can be as expensive or as cheap as you want it to be. Are there amazing curriculums and schools and things out there that you can purchase and sign up for? Yes. And they can cost you an arm and a leg. A friend of mine recently sent me one big name school and said, hey, this is our homeschool program. I calculated what it would cost to put all of our children in there and nearly had a heart attack because there's no way I could ever afford that type of money. That's not in the cards for me. But that doesn't mean my children don't have an amazing education. We homeschool for nearly free. We don't have a lot of financial resources. Being a ministry and full-time that hasn't had a real paycheck in like 5 years, we don't have that type of disposable income, but it doesn't mean that my kids don't have a rich education. That's why I love sharing the things that we do. I'm sharing all next week exactly how we're homeschooling our children. That's why I invite you guys to come to that open house, because we have very, very cost-effective classes and resources for people that are looking for something. We offer scholarships to families in need and sibling discounts and all of those things because we think it's important and it doesn't have to cost a fortune. I also am putting together free homeschool plans. For those of you who have been around for a while, you know this because I used to do this for you all, but I'm putting together free plans so that way you can absolutely pull together amazing resources for your children that are educating them as the whole child, biblically focused, without spending a bajillion dollars. So if you have plenty of income and you're able to purchase the curriculum you want and do the things you want to do, praise God, that's amazing. Go do that if that's what works for you. But if you've been kind of holding back or not sure because you don't have a big budget to work with, guess what? Neither do I, and my kids are doing quite fine. We are making it just perfectly well, and we've been doing it this way for a dozen years. So can you do it for free? Yeah, you absolutely can. I actually found that while our oldest was in public school, that cost us far more money than him being homeschooled ever did. Between the clothes, the supplies, the constant things they're always asking for, the things we had to keep up on, it's much cheaper doing it this way. Myth 5, what if I ruin my kids? What if I goof this whole thing up and they don't go on to be successful, wonderful people because of the educational decisions that I made? Guys, again, myth busted. Nobody wants better for your children than you do. That's why he entrusted them to you, because they are your babies and we know that you want the best for them. Homeschooling, I have found in my experience, is far more just rewarding than anything else. And to see these wonderful children from amazing families that we've gotten into contact with between YouTube here, our church, our ministry, our co-op, to see these kids, and now we had a handful of them graduate in the past couple years, and to see the things that they're off into, the men and women for the Lord that they are, and all of the aspects in which they're giving back to their community and those around them, it's just amazing. And so if you've been living in this fear and worry of what if I goof up my kids, what if I don't get this right, you guys go watch yesterday's video, because we talked a lot about this, and I pray that that can be an encouragement to you. So I hope that busting those top 5 myths there can be a huge help for you as you look through these areas, you apply these principles and go, you know what? I think the Lord has a lot to say about the view in which we train our children up in. We see from Deuteronomy 6 instructing us as parents to teach our children the ways of the Lord from the time they wake up until the time they go to bed, when we're out and about and when we're at home, seeing God give the biblical mandate to train up our children in His way, to know that it is by our example in the worldview in which we are teaching to them that will literally connect to every other aspect of life. Nothing is more important than our children's education, and especially in a way that can honor the Lord and truly nurture and lift up our kids, each of them as the individuals that God created them to be. And so hopefully this can be a help as we all try to unpack these myths that we all, I think, either have felt at one point or ran into at another. You guys will have to let me know, are there any other myths that you've either believed or heard? Leave me a comment down below so we can see what other ones we've all dealt with, because I know there's many. But hopefully this can be a help for you guys. Next week, we are going to be sharing exactly what homeschool is looking like in this season and this year for our 3 girls. Our oldest just graduated, so now it's just the girls. But come and join us next week so you guys can see exactly what we have going on. If you ever have any questions or you're curious and you wonder what we're using or how we're doing it, leave me a comment down below. I'm always happy to answer that and share with you guys. Otherwise, I'm going to leave this video right up here for y'all to watch, and I will see you guys right back here tomorrow. So subscribe, tap the bell, turn that on, and that way you will get it when it comes out. See you then. Bye, friends.